The news that no one was expected to hear was ultimately revealed by Remy Ma. Or perhaps everyone knew in private but was afraid to speak. When the Queen of Bronx rap reveals the most embarrassing reality of the supposedly ideal hip-hop marriage, what will happen? You end up with a scandal so ugly that even reality TV producers would blush, divorce papers, and betrayal. Remy and Papoose were hailed as the ideal couple for years. Black love royalty is a power pair. The type of periodicals that force us to believe that loyalty still is present in the music business. Who exactly was winning here, though, if devotion means going through life in silence while your partner is unable to satisfy even your most basic needs? The whispers have now become yells. Anonymous friends claim that Remy was unable to maintain his facade. No longer. According to screenshots purportedly provided by a family member of the marriage, Papoose was losing badly in the bedroom, which served as the battleground. Imagine being exposed as the one thing no man ever wants to be called after basing your entire reputation on being the devoted husband. Insufficient. Hold on tight, because this marriage may have ended due to what Remy Ma just disclosed. They consistently asserted that Papoose and Remy Ma were untouchable. The true ride-or-die combo of hip-hop. For years, headlines cried out. As if hashtags could save a marriage, Instagram fan pages flooded their feeds with the word goals like it was a prayer. However, objectives don't cover the emotional expenses, do they? When one person is left staring at the ceiling while the other snores in blissful ignorance, goals don't brighten the bedroom. And when the queen herself decides she's had enough of pretending, goals most certainly don't stop the truth from coming out. The cracks had been there all along, if anyone took the time to look. Recall those uncomfortable interviews in which Papoose would exalt himself as the ideal hubby whilst Remy merely sat there grinning forcefully? Yes, those clips now seem more like receipts than couple objectives. The so-called fairy tale appeared more like a slow-motion train crash behind closed doors, according to anonymous insiders who are suddenly unable to stop talking. Imagine the might of Remy Ma, a lady who can rip an opponent apart with 16 bars, forced to live with a man who reportedly couldn't provide where it mattered most. To make those connections, you don't need a tabloid. All you need is a brain. One source that was leaked asserts that the tension began subtly when Remy came home from prison years ago. During her bid, Pap had been the devoted husband, turning up, grinning, and establishing himself as the epitome of fidelity. However, devotion does not equate to contentment, my love. You can only be so loyal to your partner when late at night. There are rumors circulating around the Bronx streets that this isn't working. Papoose made every effort. Presents, vacations, and even frantic songwriting sessions centered around their unwavering love. However, songs don't soothe resentment. And the game is finished as soon as resentment enters the bedroom. The harm had already been done when people began to notice that their Instagram posts were strange. According to sources, Remy told her group of friends, one of whom was unable to hold back, that maybe not the man people believe he is. She wasn't discussing rap skills either. She was discussing performance. She was discussing the one thing that no proud husband would ever want to be revealed: the scoring for the bedroom. That scorecard was allegedly blank in addition to being low. Remy, a woman with choices, influence, and a thriving job, wasn't going to continue living that way indefinitely. Then there were rumors about the new man, a shadowy character who was said to have provided Remy with just what she had been lacking. Word got around the industry that this man was everything she had ever wanted. And believe me, there was no focus on holding hands or providing emotional support at the park. You will catch my drift if you do. All of a sudden, each image of Remy grinning without in the frame, Pap began to appear suspicious. Every girl's night out becomes a topic of conjecture. Every interview in which Remy sidestepped a query served as fodder for gossip websites. In contrast, Papoose held onto his reputation like a lifeboat. He used the loyal man card so forcefully that it turned into a joke. He allegedly begged Remy to stop making me look foolish in public in anonymous direct messages. Imagine the embarrassment of being portrayed as the king of loyalty in hip-hop, only to have your wife subtly imply that another man was providing her with all the things you were unable to provide. That goes beyond simple treachery. It is being executed in public. Remy didn't even bat an eyelid. People believe she was bluffing when she declared, "Everything is signed and ready to go." During an Instagram live a while ago, rumors of a divorce appear frequently in this sector. That wasn't simply a compliment though, because she went on to say, "He's been acting like the emotional girl he is." That shot was lethal. In front of millions, a man who had built his whole career on being devoted, protective, and macho was reduced to a girl. That isn't a dispute. It's a funeral. At Costco, fans devoured it like free samples. The breakdown's timeline is unclear. However, one thing is evident. Remy was fully aware of what she was doing. Every snarky remark, every leaked statement, and every syllable was planned. This was more than just a split. It was a demolition. The truth, or at least her interpretation of it, was what she wanted the world to know: that she couldn't get what she wanted from Papoose. The divorce documents were merely the formal documentation, attached to a story that had already gained widespread attention. Then the interviews began to accumulate. She's giggling on a live feed one day at remarks that Pap is a bozo. On another day, she is half smiling during a radio interview when she says the line that made headlines worldwide. All of my desires are met by my new man. In other words, Papoose was out, and his substitute was scoring goals at a rapid pace. Haters were ecstatic, fans were in disbelief, and gossip websites nearly collapsed in an attempt to cope with the aftermath. Papoose's response: traditional denial. He rushed to social media and shared ambiguous sayings about treachery, family, and devotion. He tried to brag by saying he was the author of 90% of Remy's rhymes, and accused her of lying and cheating. However, he appeared more desperate the more he yelled. No PR team in the world can make up for the queen herself implying that you weren't man enough in the most intimate setting. You can shout liar all you want. According to unnamed insiders, Pap even thought about suing bloggers who were disseminating the information. Let's face it though, once a story gets flight, it's impossible to turn it back. Memes, screenshots, and dubious subtweets spread more quickly than wildfire. And each and every one returned to the same terrible headline. Because Papoose was unable to satisfy her cravings, Remy Ma left him. This goes beyond a simple scandal. This is an implosion that will destroy your legacy and break your ego. Pap spent years establishing himself as the encouraging husband, the devoted monarch, the ideal match. He is the joke now, the man whose wife essentially declared he wasn't enough in public. I therefore discovered someone who was. It's more than simply a disaster. It's disastrous. And just when you think things can't get much worse, a new dimension of the story emerges, bringing in unexpected faces. The scandal is revealed on another level. And all of a sudden, this is more than just Remy versus Papoose. The internet is laughing at this entire industrial circus with new names, dragged and roasted. It was neatly summed up in one tweet that went viral. He was faithful to her. She handed him Papoose and alimony. He wasn't going to put up with it. According to unnamed people close to him, he was prepared to counter with years of several invoices demonstrating the amount of his own funds and labor invested in her brand. Pap saying if she wants money, she should pay him back for every studio session, every promo, every lyric he put in her notebook. Savage. An insider allegedly told TMZ. Imagine requesting support for your spouse from the same man who essentially saved your career. The public's response became violent. Sarcasm poured into comment sections from fans. Imagine being married over a prison phone and still asking for alimony, a reader said. According to another, Pap's loyalty overnight. Memes depicting Remy holding dollar signs and Papoose holding loyalty signs went viral. The contract expired, but now she wants a refund. Not even other rappers were able to resist. A diss track clip featuring the line, "Pap wrote bars," was posted online by an unidentified rapper. Guess who's still in debt? She signed checks, but it wasn't just about money. Threats from the law started to circulate. Rumor circulated that if Papoose didn't comply, Remy's team would divulge private details about him. Quietly settle in. Blackmail. Plan. Of course. An alleged text message from her was disclosed by one insider. We will give him war if that is what he desires. We also have knowledge. Now for the conspiracy ideas. What were they aware of? Ancient filth from his history? Secret relationships? Or was it only a face-saving bluff? Papoose, meantime, increased his social media presence. Subliminals. In another mysterious message he wrote, "Sometimes walking away is the loudest truth you can tell." His fans understood precisely what he meant. He then shared a black screen with the words, "Everything comes out in the end," in a story that has since been removed. The internet was ablaze with screenshots. Abruptly, the story changed once more. Did Papoose possess nuclear-level secrets that may permanently ruin Ray's reputation? As the legal battle continued, a wave of public humiliation followed. Outside, reporters set a camp. Fans viewed the live-streamed updates from bloggers as the Super Bowl of scandals. Anarchy ensued with each new information. According to alleged financial records, Remy was asking for thousands of dollars in spousal assistance each month, alleging emotional distress brought on by the separation. Suffering on an emotional level, she was accused of cheating, which led to the same divorce. The internet was unable to overlook the hypocrisy. As if things couldn't get any messier, there were reports that Remy was planning a reveal. Interview. Yes, it was said that the same woman who was accused of having two separate identities and shady connections was getting ready to speak with a big media source to give her side of the story. According to anonymous leaks, she would rewrite the story to make herself the victim by portraying Papoose as domineering and compulsive. According to one blog post, here's the issue. She's trying to play the sympathy card, but fans aren't purchasing tickets. Papoose allegedly prepared paperwork as Remy planned interviews. It was reported that he possessed audio recordings, text conversations, and bank statements that may reveal just the extent of the betrayal. Career-ending receipts, one insider said. The suspense grew like a Netflix cliffhanger. Whether it was real or merely hype, the public was divided. Some followers tweeted, "Don't do it, Pap," pleading with Papoose to remain silent. While the internet debated, one thing was evident: protect your peace. Others encouraged him, saying, "Drop the files, king. We deserve the truth." Originally representing faithfulness, the pair had now formally become the betrayal blueprint. Then it happened, the instant that stopped everyone cold. An enigmatic video purportedly showing Remy and someone bickering on the phone went viral online. "He thinks he's the victim, but he's not innocent either," she remarked in a strong, unfiltered voice. Fans didn't care that the audio was brief, shaky, and unconfirmed. "If I go down, I'm taking him with me." For days, hashtags like #loyalty and #Remy vs Pap have been dead trending. The plot is at a perilous juncture at that point. Will the nuclear receipts be unloaded by Papoose? Will Remy use her own tell-all to change the course of events? Or will this issue spiral into a never-ending cycle of lawsuits, lyrical jobs, and leaks? The fairy tale is dead, that much is certain. The world is watching and the masks are off. Because this is about hip-hop's fixation with devotion, treachery, and public spectacle. It's not just about a marriage. Furthermore, the next chapter of this drama may be the one that ultimately destroys them both if the most repulsive truths are still concealed. Remember that there are always more sinister truths lurking beneath the surface, even when you believe the story is finished. Who has the courage to reveal them first, though? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the conclusion of what was formerly referred to as the greatest love story in hip-hop, now reduced to a warning about judicial chaos, receipts, and betrayal. Papoose, the man who married his wife over the phone while incarcerated, waited 6 years and supported her profession, is now facing divorce papers and alimony claims. And Remy Ma, who was before praised for her return but is now charged with double lifestyles, devious connections, and the use of loyalty as a pretext. Here's the question that won't go away though. Who is the true antagonist? Is the treacherous spouse Papoose finally revealing the unpleasant reality? Or is he simply another resentful man altering history to maintain his reputation? What about Remy? Was she truly disloyal? Or is this story simply the ideal combination of retaliation, receipts, and rumors? There is still a lot of fallout. There may be more leaks tomorrow. More close pals may suddenly recall the reported tell-all interview and the screenshots they have. This tale could blow up into something much bigger than the betrayal itself if Remy Ma does speak. So I'll let you do it. What do you think? Did the hero Papoose finally had enough? Or was the foundation of this power couple always lies just waiting to fall? Because this issue is more than simply entertainment, please share your comments here. It's a public examination of hip-hop loyalty. And believe me, this might seem easy in the upcoming chapter. You've come to the perfect site if you want to witness the unvarnished truth, the scandals, the leaks, and the drama that the business doesn't want you to see. Get the Gossip Spill Vibe subscription. Smash the ugliest secrets are still loading. So hit the like button and pay attention. Then followed the more sinister consequences. Rumors of legal issues. According to one gossip blog, Pap was thinking of suing Remy for defamation, claiming that her campaign of public humiliation had ruined his career. Attorneys allegedly went around, sniffing at the possible income. According to another report, if those claims of a covert arrangement become more widely known, Remy may be the subject of financial investigations. Fans were salivating at the thought of this nasty divorce degenerating into courtrooms and subpoenas. One fan joked, "Imagine this on Judge Mathis." The rumor that a tell-all book was being written was even more startling. Yes, it was rumored that Remy or perhaps a close friend was getting ready to publish All My Desires, a no-holds-barred exposé. This wouldn't simply rekindle wounds if it were real. They would be burned, salted, and broadcast the video in real time. There would be no way out for Hap. On glossy paper, his whole brand would be reduced to a punchline. Officially, the scandal had become a cultural phenomenon. Late-night presenters made jokes. News outlets began to use memes. Celebrities who were not linked were questioned about the divorce. In an interview, one vocalist grinned and said, "Listen, desires matter. That's all I'll say. It's subtle, but we all understood." By this point, the narrative had engulfed their entire history. Remy, who had once been hailed for her bars, was now the queen of savage admissions, and Papoose, who had once been hailed as the faithful husband, was now the face of broken promises. The story didn't simply go apart. It turned into entertainment, a cautionary tale encased in hashtags, memes, and rumors, and the most perverse aspect was that both parties profited. Pat may have been embarrassed, but his name was all over the place. Over more. Remy may have been hauled along, but she was in charge of the story. In today's society, controversy is priceless, and the public appeared to be indignant, but couldn't stop watching as streams, clicks, interviews, and headlines all soared. Since this controversy shown that people no longer desire love stories, but rather train wrecks live, what is the true fallout here? The divorce, the bedroom confessions, the money rumors, or something darker that in 2025 humiliation sells better than music? Streamed with receipts. And when the dust settles, one unsettling question remains. Was this all about power, control, and image, or was it about bedroom desires? Because when devotion isn't enough to save you, perhaps the reality is straightforward. Nothing in hip-hop is sacrosanct, not even marriage. And there you have it. Remy Ma's supposedly ideal marriage was shattered, not by industry or external adversaries, but by the bedroom, which is the most private battleground of all. For years we were told that fairy tale. Remy played the untouchable queen and Pap played the faithful king for years. But tonight all that's left is a heap of receipts, gossip, and a confession that completely upended hip-hop's conception of love. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. Was this genuinely about love or power? Did Remy's needs not being addressed force her to break? Or did she just outgrow the loyalty Pap so desperately attempted to sell us? And what about Papoose? Was he the one who broke? Did he write his own demise by clinging to a reputation he could never live up to? Or was he a victim of humiliation? Consider the timing, the leaks, and that one brutal statement. My new man fulfills all my desires. The worst part is that this is just the beginning. Divorce papers are one thing, but the rumors of books, litigation, and more receipts represent the next chapter of Pap's life. Was that an emotional slip? Or was that a deliberate demolition aimed to ruin his name forever? Now it's your turn. Do you think Remy Ma's confession was the whole truth? Or was it only the beginning? The tale is just around the corner. The only issue is, will we live to see it? Or will the repercussions be so explosive that it permanently alters hip-hop history? Loudest manifestation of the reality she desired for us to hear? Share your ideas in the comments because, believe me, this discussion is far from finished. Additionally, if you desire each leak, every backlash, and every controversy dissected with no tolerance, be sure that press the like button, then subscribe. And remain confined because the following the bombshell will arrive sooner than you think.